What's up, everybody? It's Mark here from Grow and Conquer, and I was thinking about it, and I wanted to do a video about this. I've been working out, resistance training and cardio for 22 years. 22 fucking years. Over 2 decades. And you know what? I really have gained a pretty good volume of knowledge about certain things when it comes to exercise. And I want to share those with you guys. Now, I realize I'm not an IFBB pro bodybuilder or anything, but at 39 years old, I'm in some pretty good shape. You know, I have good muscle. My body fat's just over 11%, which is pretty low compared to the majority of the population. And I'm pretty strong for my size. So, yeah. And you know, a lot of people, I started working out anyway when I was 17, really working out. I dicked around with weights when I was 14, 15, 16 years old, but I started to take it serious when I was 17. I decided I didn't want to be the skinny kid anymore. I wanted to look good with my shirt off. I wanted to get laid. I wanted to pick up girls. So I made that conscious decision that I was going to lift weights and I was going to do just that. And I did. I was started out at 6'1", 148 pounds at 17 years old. By the time I was 18, I was 165 pounds. So right away I got that beginner's gain that everybody gets when they first start working out. And over the years I've been as big as 230, solid, with the body fat I have now. Right now I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm 212.8 pounds, I believe, buck naked on the scale this morning. So it's been years. It's been a big struggle, and it's been a lot of work to get where I'm at. So the main stumbling block for people is that they don't want to work out because it takes discipline, and it takes hard work, and it takes time. So over the years, I mean, I've heard thousands of theories that are out there about, you know, what are the best things to do to maximize your results from training. Some of them are good theories, some of them are facts, but a lot of them are complete and total bullshit. A lot of myths out there, workout myths, that just crack me up. Let's get into those myths. The one I love hearing, and everybody's heard this, and I don't know whoever the dipshit was that came up with this. Whoever it is, I'd love to just kick him in his nuts as hard as I can. If you lift weights and get big, and then you stop lifting weights, your muscle will turn into fat. I don't know where people come up with this shit. No. That's not going to happen. As a matter of fact, that defies the laws of physics and biology. Muscle cells and fat cells are two totally different things. In fact, they're extremely different in their structure and their function as well. And the only way that you can turn one cell into another cell is stem cells when you're a fetus into muscle or fat. But you're not a fetus. And no, if you stop working out, if you get big and jacked and you stop working out, your muscles aren't going to turn into fat. They're going to get smaller and weaker probably, but they're not going to turn into fat. That's just ridiculous. This one, I catch a lot of hell for this other myth. I say it's a myth. And I can feel the comments already. People are going to be upset with me. But you hear especially big guys say, you can't get big. You can't get big unless you do squats. Now, I'm not here to downplay the fact that squats do work, because they do, but that's bullshit. You can do other exercises to target the same muscles in a much safer fashion, and actually in a more targeted fashion. Squats are if you do the proper form of squats, it's an extremely unnatural position for the human body. It's essentially your legs are almost in, if this is your knee here, your legs are almost in a 90-degree bend. You essentially don't want to let your knees pass the plane of your toes when you do squats, which is the natural inclination of your legs, because that's what they're designed to do, to minimize the damage and effort that is put on your muscles in your legs. So I understand that squats do put a lot of tension on your larger muscle groups, your quads and your glutes. But you can achieve the same thing on a leg press by putting your feet up high and just putting them in a special position to where you target your quads and your glutes. Essentially the same position, but your lower back is supported on a seat, and you have a safety factor there that you just don't have with squats. So no, you don't have to do squats to get big. In fact, as somebody who's been a trainer for many years, I would recommend that nobody does squats unless you're in powerlifting competitions and you have to. Or if you're a pro bodybuilder and it's how you make your millions of dollars by doing squats and having gigantic legs, fine. Then, okay, do squats. Another one, crunches are better than sit-ups or any other exercise for abs. They're most effective. I don't know why people think that crunches are effective at all. As a general rule, as far as ab exercises go, crunches suck. They suck. They don't work very well. They do give you continuous tension, but you don't get a peak contraction with crunches, and they're easy. And I think that's why people love doing crunches so much, because they're easy. And as a general rule, when something's easy, when it comes to resistance training, it doesn't work very well. And it doesn't produce very much in the way of results. For me, can't beat good old-fashioned incline sit-ups and leg lifts. I mean, that's what I do. That seems to work best for me. Let's see, what other myths we have? Oh, free weights work better than machines. No, it's just not true. Free weights aren't bad, and you want to do free weights. You want to do both. You want to do machines and free weights. But machines are extremely valuable. They tend to target muscles a little more specifically sometimes. Yes, some machines are ridiculous and they're pieces of shit and they're a waste of time, but a lot of them are not. In fact, I would say I get my best muscle gains from doing cable workouts with cable machines. So yeah, don't look down upon machines just because your friend who thinks he's huge or thinks he knows what he's talking about says that they're for pussies and old ladies, because they're not. You'll see a lot of pro bodybuilders use machines too. Carbs, here's another one. Carbs are bad for you and should be avoided whenever possible. No, carbs are bad for you if they're simple carbs, if they're sugars. High glycemic carbs, meaning carbs that spike your insulin high up. And this is bad for you because here's how it works. Let's say you eat a giant Snickers bar, one of those king-size Snickers bars. Whatever they are, 400 calories, something like that. That sugar spikes your insulin really, really high as compared to carbohydrates from vegetables, let's say. And it tricks your body into thinking you just ate a gigantic 1,200 calorie meal of real food. And you didn't. So your insulin spikes up, your body will homeostate your hormones and bring up your cortisol as well. And when you do this too much, your insulin sensitivity gets ruined in your body, and you're on your way to pre-diabetes and putting on weight a lot easier than you would otherwise. So you can have sugars. Simple carbs are perfectly fine after a workout. When you need to replace those glycogen stores in your muscles, absolutely. You want to have a Snickers bar, have one as soon as you're done working out. But don't eat sugar and garbage throughout the rest of the day. But you can have all the carbs you want if it's vegetables or even breads. Whole grain breads, they have a lot of calories, but a lot of the times the carbs are low glycemic, so they're not really that bad for you. Here's one I love. Lifting weights is bad for your joints. No. Lifting weights is good for your joints, as a matter of fact. Lifting weights will build connective tissues, make them stronger. It will strengthen your joints, your bones, and your muscles. No. Not lifting weights is bad for your joints. All right, I'm just going to get that out there. Then you have people that say, there's another one that the squat guys love to say, lifting heavy is the only way that you can get big. Can't get big unless you lift heavy. That is complete bullshit. Anybody who knows anything about real exercise knows that you can make lightweight heavy. Lifting to failure is how you grow muscles. That's how you get big. You lift until you cannot do one more rep. That is the key. No, lifting heavy is not the key. I'm not saying you shouldn't lift heavy, because it does work, and a lot of times it'll get you past those plateaus, but it's not the be-all, end-all of how to get big. That's just not true. All right. I hear people say this too. Stretching prevents injuries. That is not true. Stretching does not prevent injuries. Stretching will prevent cramping of your muscles. But I can say in the 22 years of being a gym rat that I've been, I have seen more people injure themselves stretching than lifting weights. True story. Stretching has benefits. It will help you warm up a little bit because it will open up capillaries in your muscles and allow some blood to flow in there. So actually stretching during your training while you're lifting weights can be pretty useful. But no, you don't have to stretch. It's not a bad idea to be flexible, but stretching takes a lot of time, and quite frankly, I'd rather see you spend that time building your muscle or sleeping or eating health food, doing something productive. Then you have people that say, and girls love this one, I don't want to lift weights because it's going to make me bulky. No, lifting weights does not make you bulky. I wish that was the case. I wish that all I had to do was start lifting weights and I would just bulk out and get big. It's complete bullshit, especially for women. Women, girls, you don't have testicles, which means you don't have a lot of testosterone. Men have testicles and make testosterone in copious amounts compared to girls. And men don't get bulky from lifting weights. Most men are lucky to get some tone from lifting weights and maybe look good with their shirt off. So for girls, I can promise you that lifting weights is going to do more for your appearance than any cardio you could ever imagine. Lifting weights will do 10 times more for your appearance than cardio will. So, I know you don't like lifting weights because it's not fun and you feel silly, but girls, if you want to look your best, you should be doing resistance training. And guys, if you think, I just want to be toned, I don't want to get bulky, so I don't want to lift too much, that's bullshit too. Unless you're taking steroids, you're not going to grow that much from lifting weights. I mean, you're lucky to gain 7 to 8 pounds of actual muscle in a full year of working out 5 days a week. And that's the truth. Okay. And then people say, taking steroids is cheating. If your goal is to get huge, then no, it's absolutely not cheating. It's pretty much required. Unless you're extremely gifted with 1 in a million genetics, taking juice doesn't magically make you big. Hard work is what makes you big. Working out properly, eating properly, sleeping all the time, stuffing your face constantly with high nutrient, a lot of times unpleasant foods that you don't want to eat. That's what makes you gain weight. That's what makes you big. Steroids do make you grow faster. I will not say they do not, but it's not cheating. If you take steroids and don't work out super hard, you're really not going to get anything out of it. So, and then to go along with that, you hear young guys say this to each other a lot. If you want to gain muscle and gain weight, you got to eat as much as you can all the time. Many calories as you can, no matter what it is. If your goal is to be a fat fuck, then yes, that's what you want to do. You want to stuff your face with anything that you can. Calories aren't what make you big. Nutrients are what make you big, are what make you gain muscle. So if you're eating 5,000 calories a day of sugar-filled weight gainers, ice cream, and peanut butter and jellies, you won't put on as much muscle as you would if you ate 2,500 calories a day of lean meats, vegetables, and low glycemic carbs and high nutrient foods. And that's just the way it is. So don't buy into that shit. Weight gainers are a waste of money. Don't think that eating a half gallon of ice cream is going to help you put on muscle. If anything, it's going to keep you from putting on muscle. So yeah, keep that in mind. Lifting weights, this is a good one. And we in the 80s especially heard this, 80s and 90s. Lifting weights stunts your growth. There has never been a single study that has shown that to be true, unless children are under the age of 12 years old. And if you are, you really shouldn't be lifting weights. You're going to hurt yourself. If you're a teenager and your parents don't know shit and they tell you that they don't want you lifting weights because it's going to stunt your growth, they don't know what they're talking about. It's fine. In fact, lifting weights, the one thing it has shown to do is to increase your growth hormone levels in your body. So if anything, lifting weights is going to make you grow bigger. So don't buy that bullshit for a second. It's complete bullshit. So, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. These kind of myths were prevalent in the 80s and 90s. The world of fitness is a lot more sophisticated now. And I got to tell you, I shake my head in amazement at how these myths persist on. I don't know. People. There's really nothing I can think of that exercise doesn't improve in your life. There's nothing. It makes your sex life better. It makes you feel better. You sleep better. You look better. You have more energy. You live longer. Everything in your body, so your organs function better. Everything. There's nothing that working out doesn't positively impact in your life. So keep that in mind. And choosing to train your body, it takes discipline. It's not easy. I've seen guys who, when I worked in the corporate world, would work 16 hours a day and not see their families on weekends because they wanted to sit in the office to climb that corporate ladder and claw their way and step on each other on the way up there. But you couldn't get them to spend 3 hours a week in the gym. And they're all just killing themselves, chugging coffees and getting fat. So, yeah. A couple important things. You want to have a good training split. Training split means you want to separate the muscles that you train. You don't want to do, unless your goal is to be a CrossFit person, which I guess that's pretty cool. It's better than not doing anything. But if you're trying to get jacked, CrossFit's not going to do it for you. You want to do a training split. You want to do corresponding muscles. Shoulders and triceps and chest are all corresponding muscles. Back and biceps are corresponding muscles. Quads and glutes are corresponding muscles. So you want to make a training split where you incorporate this feature into your workouts. For me, I actually do a 3-day training split where I do back and bis and abs, shoulders, chest, and tris the second day. The third day I'll do legs. And then sometimes the fourth day I'll throw, because I didn't do my quads or whatever, or my hamstrings, I'll do hamstrings and abs. But I generally break it down to a 3-day on, 1 to 2 day off training split. That's what works best for me. You got to do what works best for you and your schedule too. So that's pretty important. Get a solid training split. I'm making articles about this on the website on Grow and Conquer. So there's going to be a lot of this information for you. So, if you need help, go to the forum, join the forum, and ask. Now, there's people there that we have some pretty solid fitness guys there that know what they're talking about, myself included. Things that I have learned that are true about working out. The Weider Principles. The Weider Principles are true, most of them. Joe Weider is this guy who, if you guys don't know who he is, he was the guy that sponsored Arnold and Frank Zane and Columbo and all those giants back in the 70s when bodybuilding was really coming into its own. He's the guy that had those cheesy benches, the Weider bench, with the guy like this in the picture. We all had one if you grew up in the 80s or 90s. You had a Weider bench. Things were rickety as hell and dangerous as fuck. But he came up, he did some shady stuff, and he wasn't much of a true fitness guru or anything, but he did come up with principles that I liked. Of the Weider Principles, there's a few that I believe in. One is peak contraction. Peak contraction means that if you're going to do a bicep curl, you're going to contract the muscle all the way to its peak. This is important. You don't stop here. You don't stop here on the curl. You do a full peak. And as well, one of the Weider Principles was continuous tension. So when you're doing the negative on that same rep, you don't let the weight go and let your muscle rest. You keep the tension on it. You stop and keep the tension on your muscle. And the third one that I like of the Weider Principles is training to failure. Training to failure is the key for growing muscle and getting bigger and stronger. If you train to failure, your body will compensate by allowing you to do that last rep you couldn't do next time. If you don't give your body a reason to change, why in the hell would it change? So yeah, the Weider Principles, a lot of them I do like. Something else I learned, and I read a study about this in the late 90s, and I said, what the hell, I'll put it into practice, and it really made a big difference for me. Whichever exercise you do first on a specific muscle is going to be the one that is the most effective for that workout. So, for instance, it's back and buys day. I go into the gym and I'm getting ready to do buys. Whichever biceps exercise I do as my first exercise, let's say I'm going to do 4 different things. The first thing I do is going to be the most effective for training the muscle and growing it. So this is really important to keep in mind, depending on what your fitness goals are with each muscle and what you want to do with it. If you want to thicken it, widen it, you might want to do straight bar curls. If you want to bring a peak, you might want to do cable curls, things like that. And it goes into the next thing that I've learned over the years about working out, and that is when training a muscle, train it in the position that you would do it to show it off. It makes perfect sense when you think about it. When you want to show off your bicep, how do you do it? That's right. You put your arm out to the side, you curl your wrist in, and you flex like this, because that makes it look the perkiest and the best. Well, if the first exercise you do on any given muscle is the most important one, and if that is the way you show your muscle off, you want to train it in that position as your first exercise. This is going to give you visibly a much more peaked out, much more lean looking and perky looking muscle. It's going to make you look bigger than you really are, because that's the position that you're training it in. And I've really taken these 2 things to heart with my workouts, and it's really made a big difference for me. So yes, the first exercise I generally do is a cable curl, a double bicep cable curl, or I do a concentration curl down low for my buys. You know, when you show off your tries, how do you do it? You go outside and you show off your tries, right? Well, incorporate that as your first workout when you're doing tries. You get the idea. Another thing that I find important is do not mix your upper body and lower body workouts together in the same workout. And it's for a simple reason. You just don't have enough blood in your body to do it. If you've ever lifted weights, you know about the pump. That's when you're lifting weights and your muscles get gigantic and swollen. It's an awesome feeling. And you look twice as big all of a sudden. And yeah, it's awesome. Well, your body does that for a reason. You're using that muscle. It needs oxygen. It needs glycogen. It needs nutrients. So the blood rushes to that area to feed the muscle. Blood is your muscle food. So you want to keep that blood in that muscle as long as you can. It's a really important factor for being less sore and growing more and healing faster. If you do upper and lower body, the blood will shift from upper body muscles to lower body muscles and the other direction, depending on how you're doing it. And I've noticed it. It's why I don't do CrossFit, because I can't hold a pump when I do CrossFit in one part of my body, and CrossFit just makes you skinnier and have a good cardio health. And again, I'm not getting down on CrossFit. If that's what you're doing and it's working for you, just by all means do CrossFit. Work out. As long as you're working out, I'm going to be happy. But if you're trying to get jacked, stick with upper body one day, lower body on a separate day, because your body doesn't have enough blood to pump all those muscles together and to fight gravity in one direction or the other. Another important fact: do not take for the same reason essentially. Do not take anti-inflammatory drugs after your workouts or before or during your workouts for pain. Do not take ibuprofen. Do not take sodium naproxen. So don't take Advil or Motrin or Aleve, for instance. They are all anti-inflammatories. They have anti-inflammatory properties. That muscle, the swelling into your muscles is blood, like I said earlier. That is a type of inflammation. Quick story. I was when I got hired by a fitness modeling agency about 10 years ago, I went on my first casting. First casting I ever did was for Tylenol for a TV commercial. And I went into the casting, and you never know what you're going to get into when you go into castings. The situations can be hilarious or crazy sometimes, but I walk into a room and it was dark, and there's like a chair with a light beaming down on it, kind of like this chair here with like a light coming down. These people sitting in the dark in the background, and they said, "We only have one question for you. It's your casting. If you don't know the answer, don't answer it." Okay. And they said, "Why is it better to take Tylenol after a workout for pain than Advil? Do you know the answer?" I said, "Yeah." They got all excited. They said, "Well, why is it?" And I said, "Because, when you work out and train, you get the pump, you get the blood in your muscles. If you take Advil or naproxen, it's an anti-inflammatory. It's going to take the swelling out of your muscles. And they got all excited and they said, why is that important? Because, blood is your muscle food and you want to keep that blood in there as long as possible. These three people got up and danced a jig. Apparently none of these idiots that went to casting knew this. Well, that's the point of what I'm getting at. Don't take any anti-inflammatories. If you need to take something for pain after a workout, take Tylenol. It's a shame kratom's going to be illegal in 2 weeks because kratom's great for that as well. Keep your cardio under 20 minutes or up to 20 minutes and no more. Now, doing a lot of cardio is not going to make you lose weight. I need to stress this to you. If I run 2 miles in 20 minutes, I end up burning 210 calories. That's as many calories as I get in 1.5 pieces of whole wheat bread. So when you think about what you eat in a day and how much work it is to run off your food, it's pretty much impossible unless you're running marathons or 10 miles plus a day. Don't use cardio as a form of weight loss. Maybe a small supplementation to your weight loss. Cardio should be for the health of your heart. The reason you don't want to do more than 20 minutes of cardio is because of cortisol. In the caveman days, when people lived in caves and fought wild animals for their meals and had to run from saber-toothed tigers to survive, cortisol was a very useful hormone. When your body is under times of physical or mental stress, it releases cortisol. And what cortisol does is it helps you get through those times. Cortisol will strip the nutrients off of your muscles, and it will feed your organs and your heart. For when you're starving, for instance. If a caveman didn't have a good hunt, and didn't eat any food for a week, cortisol levels go up, keeps you from starving to death and falling apart. If you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, cortisol is going to kick in along with your adrenaline, and it's going to feed your heart at the expense of other tissues in your body. It's going to feed your connective tissues and your bones at the expense of your muscles. Now, these were really good things when you were a caveman who had a life expectancy of 30 years. In modern times, we haven't changed biologically all that much from cavemen, if at all. So in modern times, cortisol is not helpful. Your body doesn't know the difference between running on a treadmill for exercise or running for your life from a dangerous animal. It still releases cortisol either way. So at 10 minutes of cardio exercise, cortisol levels start to rise. By 12 minutes, they start to rise higher. By 15 minutes, they are much higher. By 20 minutes, your cortisol levels are just about to hit the peak to where it's going to be detrimental to your muscles. Stop your cardio at 20 minutes. That's it. If you want to keep your muscles and you don't want to work harder to gain that muscle, keep your cardio down to 20 minutes. All right. Most important thing, one of the most important things that I can stress is you need to sleep as much as you can. I can't stress this enough, and I hound on people about this, people that I train. Think about when the times you've been to the gym. You go to the gym, you have a good workout, you wake up the next morning and you're sore. Your body hurts, your muscles hurt. Oh, shit. Kind of feels good in a way unless you're too sore. Sometimes the soreness might get worse the second day. But once you hit the peak of that soreness, it doesn't go away while you're walking around during the day. The soreness does go away, however, when you wake up the next morning. That's because you do over 90% of all the healing in your muscles while you sleep. So this translates into a simple equation. The more you sleep, the more you heal. The more you heal, the more you grow. The more you grow, the bigger and more jacked you are. So fucking sleep as much as you can. In fact, you should get no less than 8 hours of sleep. If you're lifting weights, you should get at least 8 hours of sleep every night. Now, if you have to go out and pick up chicks and drink and all that, I suppose I can understand. You're allowed to have some nights off where you fuck that up. But no, sleeping is extremely important. These young kids that can't gain weight, I eat all the time, I train. I always ask them, how much you sleep? Wow, I have school and this, I might get like 4 or 5 hours a night. That's why you're not gaining weight. Stop partying if you have to. This is your physique. This is your, think about this. Nobody knows what happens when you die. There might be nothing after this life. This could be the only time that you're here. This could be the one trip you have through life. Why on earth would you not do everything in your power to be as awesome, strong, and jacked and look as good as you can and bang the hottest chicks that you can and have the most pleasure that you can in your life. Think about it. It's something anybody can do. It barely costs any money, and it's good for you. Like I said before, there's nothing that working out doesn't improve in your life. Nothing at all. It helps every aspect of your life. It's nothing but completely positive. So I don't want to hear your bullshit. You know, your first step to self-improvement in your road to self-improvement is looking good. If you look good, you get laid. When you get laid, you get happy. The more you get laid, the more you smile. Like I said, you only get one life. So live it up. You know, be the best person that you can. Think about it. Anyway, I appreciate you sitting through my rant there. And, you know, all my viewers, I love you guys. You know, my subscribers are going up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I got a ton more good videos coming up. I'm not going to stop, man. I'm not going to stop till I have 1,000 videos on YouTube. Everything I've ever learned in my whole life, I'm going to do a video about. No matter how taboo or ridiculous or non-important it may seem to some people, I want to help everybody out there. It is my job to help you with your self-improvement. Literally, it's my job. So go to the website. growandconquer.com is a no bullshit self-improvement site for men who want to get laid, get jacked, look good, be happy, and live the dream. And that's it. That's what we focus on, is improving your life for the better. So yeah, check out the website. I'll put a link to the website on the description here of the video. And, you know, read the articles, watch the videos, join the forum, the Grow and Conquer forum. You know, there's going to be, the forum's growing. There's going to be more and more people. We can all help each other out. We're all in this together, guys. You know, we're all the same mission. We all need to help each other out. And like I said, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, comment, let me know what you think of the videos, and I'll see you next time.